Hello and welcome to Green Horizon, a new frontier. In this special edition, we will look at a series of projects identified and funded by the Environmental Investment Fund through their Empower to Adapt program. These projects were made possible by the Green Climate Fund in partnership with the EIF. The program is aimed at creating climate change resilient livelihood through community-based natural resource management in Namibia. Empower to Adapt, creating climate change resilient livelihoods through community-based natural resource management in Namibia. In this episode, we travel to Okongo in the Ohangwena region to investigate how community forests operate. We also make a stop at the Omusati region to find out more about horticultural practice. The Okongo Community Forest is located at Omauni. The community forest is a vast forest spreading an incredible 750,000 hectares. It was established in 1997, gazetted in 2006, and caters for about 20 surrounding villages. Abel Aushona is a chief forestry technician in Ohangwena region based in Okongo at the forestry office. He says that his job is to act as a facilitator.
My office, I'm serve like a facilitators. I used to help them to develop a forest management plan, to develop their constitution, to develop their bylaws, to develop their benefit distribution plans, also to train them on role and responsibility, financial management, how they have to handle their monies or incomes. Yeah. When people were busy creating awareness campaign. They were creating awareness how people they have to manage their community forest, what's the benefit of community forest, what all about the concept of community forest. And people, they were happy because they are eager to manage their own resources so that they can benefit. Because in the past, when we are going to harvest your poles for your house construction, you have to acquire permit from forestry office where you have to pay that payment. But currently, if you are applying to harvest a certain amount of poles here in community forest, you have to pay community themselves. Because Namibia forestry sector has two very important documents. We have the Namibia National Forestry Strategic Plan and the Forestry Policy. And the Namibia Forestry Strategic Plan is the main purpose is to, one of the main reason is to establish community forest in order community to manage their own resources. And the community, they have developed their management plan, constitution, benefit distribution plans, so that they can share the resources equal. Currently, they have different community projects in Okongo Community Forest. Let me start with a carpentry project. They have carpentry project where they produce the furnitures like beds, chairs, tables, and others. They sell those products to different customers. They have also camping site. Camping site, people they are coming here and overnight here. They offer accommodation here. There is accommodation facilities, and also if they want to camp outside, they can camp. There is also bungalows there. Also community forest, they have they sell firewood, It's one of also community projects. Like they sell at Oshikoto, Ondangwa, where people they don't have enough firewood.
The forest is so vast that the grass here has been a safe haven for cattle herders during the drought of 2019, as people came from far and wide to graze their animals. Martha Kapembe, who is the chairperson of the community forest, says that a lot still needs to be done to prevent people from cutting down trees.
Aye, pawete mahapu, poroeka eso poroeka yapo. O mahapu oyo ngotaende, tutengo kucha omuwana tango tapikileko. Nde pachango uwaulimo ngashingo hatutekule nkanga detu kadipetele posha. Hatutala mashiwana. No kufa jododopo ushitwe hatudruku dongela to adalulile mashiwana. Tuwete kuche humoko meshori hapu inalikala lishibike monalomo. Ushikuni no shipe na peshi hala. Pahala ngo tuwete ngo kuchota shikepetela posha. Ashikepe ifo shepetela pongo. Nandina shitameka shepetela popomba. Opomba yo shetukufujuja shokwali hatu yanjo disela hatulando disela. Peife hatu mashikome bangao tuwete kucha shatameka ngonao. Oshikuni no ngenge sheapo obanya shotaka kufombinga shashi otaka kufombinga no milonga. Taiche humoko meshori mweli tongolo kukakufa no banu momombobe uye milonga ngeve yamo ndeta beshu dukonawa obanya shotaka kufombinga iki. Koi kunino kunya kakunana no psaka dimanga ashike ohatuka inzilango tukakwafwe pamwe openango apatanduluku monango kambuluko ku tukwafela shasho nyengo ne mushokba kujiwa ndisi pamwe hatuka monango ne nande tukwafwe nandenge no shendi fo shikale ashitutpalelo inima yetu ku hakulandifwa nande mweshipengo ne bakwetwa abo forestry shasho hadruku tuyambidida hatudruku inzila ko shendi fosho nde tabetu kwafa hatutali inima yetu komalandifila shashi inima yote ikajamo kaimba ndine kila kuchu hapu iteiwaneke kulandifilaka ngengo hatudinini ngapena pima ya pakala pena mashongo ngashi tuno mashongo ngo amwe mahapu ngashi momifitu detomo mashongo mahapu itapu ngashi ngo hatupopinga kucho momifitu detomo no mashongo natango mitita dikewa sose ne pahala tuendelele tupe oshendi fosho tukale hapima patolola kefimbo anu bamwe kabe uditeko natango ilo taningilo wina ilo pakale pena onlandu okushikula shitibali otpahala obanu ava bakale hakale ko kesto papi botash topa oiti este idimo mfitu no malori ashano tavaki bote bape beila dawili bashikali lutiketa wati.
Plenty of activities have been implemented here, from a camping site to accommodation facilities that needs a touch-up, to beehives and wood sales that have been beneficial to the communities living around the forest. But, as has been the case elsewhere, COVID-19 has also impacted people here. The caretaker had his salary cut while the secretary was retrenched because of a lack of income. While there is enough that might be a cause for concern, the community also receives assistance. They have a functional greenhouse that was funded by the African Union. At Omaoni village, the EIF have also made their presence felt. 140 homesteads have been set up that stand to benefit from the greenhouses in the area. There is also a nursery. Supporting entity Veronica Alfeus speaks on the hopes of people at the village.
It's very easy to set up this greenhouse, and that's what we want to show the community, that they can have their greenhouse, they can produce their vegetables from a small piece of land, and they can be able to conserve water. Yes, that's what we want to show the community, that it's so easy to set up something and have your own vegetables at home. So here we want to plant now the tomatoes, green pepper, or the kind of pepper, watermelon, onions, all kinds of vegetables. We want to plant them in this 3 greenhouse, just for the community to have their vegetables nearby, not going to other towns to look for them. We want to target the food security. We want to conserve water. We don't want a community to cut down the trees. So by the end of the day, we want to protect the forestry by producing enough foods using the minimum resources they have.
The greenhouse will be producing tomatoes, cabbages, onions, and other vegetables using a drip irrigation system. Senior Ohangwena Traditional Authority headman Lazarus Shapwa calls on those with the expertise to share their knowledge.
If we probably recall very well, there has been a lot of projects established in our areas or in the society, but due to sustainability issue, they happen to die a natural death because there's no management. From the point of view of the traditional authority, since is it our members to be trained, is our people to work in the project, we really want to see to it that those members, they are fully committed and they are willing to share that type of skills to the new generation to come. And the new generation to come, they will at least emulate same functions and they can keep the project running on. We are farmers. Our Congo community benefit farmers in terms of grazing, in terms of mango production, and other crops that they will able to produce in the area. Now, if we now add this type of project, other crops which farmers could not able to grow, now they are likely to be grown in the project. We talk of carrot, we talk of tomatoes, we talk of spinach, green peppers, and so on. Those are the other vegetables that our farmers and the community members can be trained and they will able also to produce on their own. Let me say, for example, if you come to a Congo village or Congo town, so to say, there are a lot of people who are selling tomatoes here and onions. Where they used to buy this type of veg, they are supposed to go to Etunda. But if that project happened to be function properly, then the retailers will only buy this type of veg at the project at Omauni.
He also has a message for young people, especially in the Okongo area, to seize the opportunity and become producers.
Actually, my message is only to motivate our young ones. Let us try to look into the situation where we find ourselves during this COVID-19 pandemic. When the lockdown was announced by His Excellency Dr. Hage Geingob, the borders were closed. Our people were suffering to get some of the food stuff because we rely on the exportations. But if we develop this type of projects very well in our country, we will be able now to produce this type of food stuff ourselves. Food security in the country will be at least increased, or let me say, our people should understand that agricultural activities need to be well carried out, and we have to put more investment in the agricultural setup in our country.
After the break, harvested rainwater is the solution at Oshali village. We continue our journey through northern Namibia. This time, our team visits the Oshali project in Ohangwena region. we came across a unique relationship between the Shikomba family and the community as joint owners of the Oshali project. Tauna Shikomba is an accountant by profession. He was injured in a motor vehicle accident and started this project in 2010. He is an adverse farmer who is hands-on, and he always patrols the surrounding with his quad bike. To him, farming is a profession of hope.
I think of, if those guys can do it, why not me? I was based on the saying said by, I quoted Mother Teresa of Calcutta, where I started. She said, not all of us can do great things, but we can do small things with love and passion. Then I started a garden here at Shali. I tried to incorporate the community here, to involve the community here who are willing to go with me. Then we decided that it will be a joint project between the Shikomba family and the Oshali community, because we noted that many projects did not succeed if they are community driven, but if at least there are elements of individual who own the ownership, then the project will succeed. We are using that model. We started in 2010 with a small gardening on the other side. Then we were lucky to be funded by Environment Investment Fund. They funded us with the establishing of at least a modern gardening. They bought us a greenhouse tunnel on the other side. We are going to look at them, and since then the project continued to succeed until today.
Here at Oshali, there is something unique that many farmers can do, especially those living and farming in flood-lying areas. They have excavated an earth dam, and they make use of the rainwater from February all the way to November to water their garden on a yearly basis. They also have a 2-hectare drip irrigation system. To do all this, they were simply lucky, as Shikomba explains.
We were lucky. We excavated it at no cost. It was during the construction of railway line on Dangwa Chikango. People here, they were charging the contractor 60,000. Then I said, come here, just excavate free of charge. That's why you don't see any sand here. All the sand went into the railway line. Project FM, which I alluded earlier, that it was excavated in 2008. We are pumping water from here. We are pumping with solar system. That's our floating pump. It was 10 meters deep, but due to the rain, which rains sometimes, it's now shallow, maybe. But we are still at 1.6 meters before we reach the bottom.
This is harvested rainwater, a first of its kind. The water will eventually fill the Oshanas and thus help with the water bills. The project also produces a lot of tomatoes, and the community around here are thankful consumers. One of the regular clients of the Oshali project is Christoph Mungongoro from Omafo, who during our visit had bought boxes of tomatoes, onions, and some spinach. He says that here he gets the freshest produce in the region.
Kana farama mara ke pangero nali yambidi dana faram vete puikuri moshirango kamnashaka tumoni hona kumona ikuria.
Chikomba also explains that they use 4 types of fertilizers on their tomatoes en route to harvest. 1. NPK is used for the best roots. Ammonia is applied so that the leaves or the biomass can grow large. Urea is also added to boost the flower, which eventually becomes the fruit. Calcium and potassium are used to help with vitamin deficiency. The northern part of Namibia can get very hot, and the project does frequent mulching. This helps with attaining moisture in the soil for the tomatoes to thrive. Jacob Amutenya from AMTA, who also works closely with the Oshali project, was present during this site visit. He encourages producers to contact AMTA to promote import substitution.
You see, AMTA is a national, it's a government agency responsible for providing market access for local producers. A special emphasis is on small and medium scale producers, because those are the most that have been. That's the group of farmers which has been suffering, struggling to get market access. So we provide a marketing platform or facility for most of the local produce that can be produced in the country. And what we also do is we go an extra. We provide technical support to these smallholder farmers. The whole idea is we trying to promote import substitution, and the best way to achieve that is by ensuring that there is enough, there is capacity to produce locally, and the best way to promote local production is by ensuring that whatever is being produced, it has got a market space somewhere. So what we're trying to do is to fix it, to address that. We are starting from the market part of it. We want to do a market-led production, where eventually you find ourselves in a situation where farmers are producing. By the time they are producing, they know exactly where is the product going to go and for how much and under what condition. Now, currently, the current situation with most of our small-scale farmers, of course, they just produce on an ad hoc kind of basis. They produce first. It's not market. The system is not market-led. It's more production-led. They produce, and once they produce, that's now when they try to hustle and see who can buy my product and all that. And then you find that sometimes there's a mismatch between what the farmers have produced and what the marketer or the trader want.
Amutenya also goes into further detail, saying that at AMTA they do a lot of inspection of the produce being brought to them. He explains that the agency constantly conducts regular surveys to determine what the market needs so as to prevent a mismatch.
Let's produce what the market needs, and we cascade that down the value chain, starting with the market. Like now we are focusing on, these days we are focusing on the public institution, the OMAs, where we're trying to understand their consumption dynamics, their demands. And once we have garnered or we have captured what is it that they consume, how often do they consume it, and what are the quality and other parameters, that information now we translate it with the farmers. We translate now that information into a cropping program with the farmers, so that the farmers are growing exactly what the public institutions needs or they consume. And the process of doing that, they're even blending it in such a manner that we are able to ensure consistency of supply. So you can give an example. Maybe you put on your 2 hectares this month for harvesting the other month, and then you put on the other 3 hectares at least 2 months spacing, so that at any point in time we want a harmonized system, so that at any point in time we do not have a shortage of certain products.
AMTA, however, does not provide financial assistance. Instead, they have pickup schedules for producers from sites to help producers at no extra cost. This brings us to the end of this program. Next week, we continue to explore the northern region with EIF and take a look at Oshali's integrated farming project that includes pigs and chickens. These projects are made possible by the Environmental Investment Fund of Namibia in partnership with the Green Climate Fund.